Hey everybody, this is Lorelia coming to you today. Want to continue the topic of what I was talking about a few days ago. So, for the past couple of videos, I've been talking about business funding and, the person that you have to become, and also the type of investor who actually gets to the pinnacle of where they're trying to get to, and that is six figures in funding. So I am not new to the conversation, but if you are new to me, I am someone who is not unfamiliar with the topic of credit, personal credit, business credit, and also in regards to real estate. And so my specialty is I help investors, business minded investors, get access to six figures or more in funding. And so tonight, I want to talk a little bit about that particular topic. Business funding is a byproduct of business education. And what do I mean when I say that? So, the last video I talked about that lenders are not in the business of helping the needy. And that topic came from me having people who reach out to me and they really express a need and almost like a desperation of them wanting business credit. And so I thought I would follow up with this particular topic in regards to, let me think for a second, in regards to the energy of that type of desperation. And so someone recently emailed me and talked about, is it possible for them to get business credit or business funding with low credit scores, don't have access to capital, don't have no equity in real estate? And this is my answer, because most people always say, hey, Lorelia, you only work with individuals who have to have good credit or who have good credit. And this is my answer to that statement. I've talked about bad credit before, and it has its place. But me, I personally don't like to see individuals get used, as well as misinformed, as well as taken advantage of. And what do I mean by that? The subprime industry is a $1 billion industry. What that means is there is an abundance of opportunities for individuals to get access to any type of credit that has, well, I don't want to say bad credit, but they have challenge credit. There's abundance of opportunities. They are lenders who specialize in the industry of working with individuals with challenge credit. That is what they do all day and every day. So understand, individuals who have challenges with their credit, there is a place for you. There is a place for you. But me personally, I know that that person who doesn't have the best financial picture when it comes to getting access to credit is going to get the worst terms. Do you hear me? You're going to get the worst terms because the person who has a favorable score, they are going to get, because at the end of the day, your score, and I know people don't want to hear this because it's like, oh, I want business credit or whatever, but that's a video for another day. Your score really just determines the terms that a lender is going to give you in terms of interest rates, in terms of repayment plans, in terms of the access to capital. That is what your credit score and credit data is going to provide. So a person who doesn't have the best and the most favorable credit score are going to not get the best terms. And me personally, I don't like to see people get financially slaughtered. And that's really what's going to happen. They will get financially slaughtered because the terms will never allow them to get to the destination that they want to go get to. And remember, I said this in the last video. No one really wants funding. No one really wants it. People want what funding provides. They want the outcome of what it is that funding provides, and whatever that may be. Maybe it's financial freedom, maybe it's to expand their portfolio, maybe it's to be a first time home buyer, maybe it's to now go into being a real estate investor. At the end of the day, the list goes on, and funding is just a byproduct of that outcome. And that is why I say education is very important. Why is education important? Because when you are an educated investor or an educated business owner or a educated entrepreneur, you know that if you are trying to get access to capital, you want the best terms. You do not operate in a space of, or the mindset of, is it going to be a slot machine? I pull the lever and let me see what happens. See, individuals who have that mindset, I call them the proven Patties and the proven Pauls of the world. They're the individuals, they're the investors who are sitting around saying, prove to me that I could get some funding. Prove it to me. And my answer to that, there's no proof that needs to be done on my behalf. You need to prove to yourself. Because whenever a person says, prove to me, what that really says is, I know that the outcome of getting six figures in funding is possible, but I just don't know how to do it. And since I don't know how to do it, I lack the education. I need someone to do it, but I don't believe in myself. I don't believe in myself enough to go on that road to and get to the destination that I am trying to get to. That is what that means. See, the business minded real estate investor, because there is a difference. There's a difference from the prove it Patties and the prove it to me Pauls and the business minded investor. The business minded real estate investor, whether they're doing deals or not, they know that it is a journey. And they know that on that journey, it's going to take time, but they know it does exist. And that's why I always say to people is that if you have the education and you understand that, the funding will come. There are lenders who want to lend. That's why I said the subprime industry is a $1 billion industry. They know that there are going to be some people who have no interest in educating themselves. They have no interest. All they want is the potential outcome. And they're willing to pay whatever price it takes to get there. But me personally, I don't choose to take advantage of people. So that's why when people say to me, oh, Lorelia, you seem to only work with people with good credit, is because I know that the outcome of what the person wants, they don't want to get hurt on the journey there. Because at the end of the day, no one wants to be taken advantage of. No one wants to be taken advantage of. But what a lot of people don't know and what they don't realize is where you're trying to go, it's going to require that you learn a few things. Because this is what I've noticed with all the conversations that I have with people. The common theme is always, I just wish that a lender would really explain some things to me. And my answer to that is, and I've told people all the time, lenders are not in the business to teach you. That's not their role. They are paid on a commission basis. So their role is to do two things: talk to you and find out what is your situation And then do you have the ability to be able to pay for the particular financial product that you're trying to get? That's the only role they have. They're not going to do all the things that are in between. And this is what people are hoping and wishing and wanting, that a lender is going to sit down and do a deep dive with them and explain to them what is the best path for them to be able to go on to get to the destination that they want to get to. So if you're trying to get to six figures in funding, what does that look like? But they're not going to do it. And that is something that you have to do on your own. And that's why I say the business minded Barbara or the business minded Barry, they understand that they are building a real estate business. And with a real estate business, it's going to take time. So that's why I tell people 80% of the people who are trying to get six figures in funding, and you're not going to like this, they are not currently in the position to get to what they're looking to get to. They're not in a position. But this is my answer to that. Currently, right now, you are not in a position, your business is not in a position to get six figures in funding. But this is what I know, that if I share with you my process, if I share with you my system, I can get you there. Because remember, business-minded Barbara and business-minded Barry, they know that they're building a business. They know that when they decided to stamp it, put their flag down and say, I want to invest in real estate, they knew that they were not going to be the $1 million real estate investor just because they went to a free real estate seminar or they watched some free webinar online. They knew that. They knew that it is going to take time. But let me tell you the difference between the business-minded Barry and Barbara and the prove it to me Paul and Patty. See, prove it to me Paul and Patty still has some financial discrepancies within themselves. They have habits and behaviors that have failed them. I'm going to call a spade, and I know a lot of people are not going to want to hear this. And those financial behaviors, they're not willing to deal with. And because they're not willing to deal with, now they want to be able to pass all that pain and hurt on to someone else. And now they want to say, I need to be proven that I can get six figures in funding. And no one is going to take that on. That's why they can't get a lender to even have a conversation with them. Because no lender is going to take that on in regards to proving that they can get you funding. They're not going to do that. So you can wish and you can want, and that's why the prove it to me Paulas and Patties of the world will continue not being able to get to their destination because they're not willing to seek education. Because this is what I always tell people. If you can just put your head down, put blinders on your head, onto your eyes, put blinders onto your eyes. It's just like a horse. They have the blinders right here. Just put blinders on for 6 months. The person just gives me 6 months to a year. The whole trajectory of where they're trying to get to can change. But most people aren't going to give themselves 6 months to a year because they're going to say that took too long. But you done spent the last 25 years tricking off your credit because no one told you the benefits and the advantages of having favorable credit. So now you done tricked off for 25 years or more, depending on your age. But now you get some new enlightenment, you learn some new information, and you can't even put your head down for 6 months to 1 year to get the education that is necessary so the byproduct can be six figures. Because like I said, 80% of the people are not currently in the right position to get the six figures in funding. Because if they were, they would already have it. And that's why I said in the last video, there's abundance of videos on YouTube or any site. There's abundance of free webinars. Everybody got some business credit, gimmick, game, strategy, or what have you. They got the secret list. They got the secret credit cards. They know the secret lenders. You name it. But why nobody ain't getting no funding? Why nobody ain't got the 6 figures in funding? Is because that is the pinnacle. It is a start on your move to where you're trying to get to the outcome. Because at the end of the day, no one really cares about the funding. It is the outcome that is most important. So, with all the resources that are out there, why some people still aren't getting there? Because they don't have the education. And education is not gimmicks. Education is not the free lenders list, the secret lenders list, the credit cards that you can get on certain credit reports. That's not education. Those are really quick, money grab strategies. That's what that is. Those are money grab strategies. But that's not education. And that's why 6 figures in funding behooves you, because you're still the prove it to me Paula or Patty or whatever I said, and the prove it to me Paul. You're still operating there. But see, business minded Barry and Barbara, they know that Rome wasn't built in a day. They know that all this, it's going to take time. The same way it took them time to be able to invest in real estate. They know that to get access to funding is going to take time. That's why I always say my best students, those who got results, know that it is a process. It's not a money grab. I tell people, I'm not in a money grab business. There's a ton of people who will sell you on the secret lenders list, the secret credit card list, the shell corps, the net 30s, all this other stuff. And what it leaves you is you chasing your tail and you never get to the outcome of what it is you want. But then you question, how do you help people get 6 figures in funding? I do it because I understand it's built on information, and from that information is education. And once you have that, because like I said, I tell people all the time, I had a master class this Saturday. These strategies that I'm sharing with people are not new strategies. It just may be new to people that look like us. Leveraging credit is not a new strategy. Leveraging business credit is not a new strategy. It's just new to us. And since it's new to us, it's easy to fall prey to someone who's selling you on gimmicks. Hey, Tawanda. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me. I'll get with you. I'll get with you. Yes, it's about education. It's a process. Nothing that I share with people is quick. That's why I tell people you have to accept where you are in life, because the process is going to be painful, especially if you know you didn't have the blueprint financially before you came to me. And most people aren't willing to be that honest with themselves, because I tell people this is a process. This is not no, I got a 500 credit score, 600 credit score, how, and how can I get 6 figures? Like, I'm not selling people on that, because this is what I tell people. There are lenders who will lend to you with low credit scores. There are, but they're going to straight rape you financially. You they are definitely, because they're taking on a risk. Like, at the end of the day, it's business. It may not be business for you. How you doing, Leon? Glad you can join me. It may not be business for you, but it's business for that lender. So yes, low credit scores, you got it. They got a product just for you. They got a product. The subprime industry is $1 billion industry, and it exists all across the board. It exists in auto loans. It exists in mortgages. We saw that, depending on your age, we saw that back in 2008. Ninja loans, no income, no job, no assets. That's what I'm saying. People who got more money than us, people who got way more money than me, they gambled so hard on individuals who were uneducated back in 2008, the freaking economy crashed. So understand there's a place for the people with the challenge credit. I don't like to say bad credit, but the challenge credit. I just choose not to. I choose to be honest with those individuals and say that there's no problem. I'm willing to work with you, but understand Rome wasn't built overnight. Rome wasn't built overnight. The last 25 years, you tricked off on your credit. You didn't really take it seriously. You didn't know the power that it held. Because I get it. Many of us come from backgrounds that we didn't know the power that credit has. So now you're a little older, you enlightened, and I get it, because that's the great thing about social media. It allows us to listen to people who are more, expansive in other areas of life. And so now you've learned something new, but you want the result now. But what about the last 25 years? Hey, how you doing, Sigma Enigma from San Fran? Thanks for joining. But you want the result now. But the last 25 years, you didn't care nothing about your finances. You didn't care. They get their money when they get their money. And you've created a pattern of behavior. So now it's going to take a new pattern of behavior to be able to get to the destination that you want to get to. And I get it. For some people, it's going to be painful. Are you willing to go through the process? Because you'll either prove it to me, Patty and Paul. Remember, prove it to me, Patty and Paul. For those who just jumping on, those are the individuals who need people to prove to them that 6 figures in funding is possible. They want somebody to prove it to them, even though they looking around, and I don't care what city and state you live in. Somebody is winning in real estate, but you want somebody to prove to you it's possible for you, only because you lack belief. But see, business minded and business Barbara, they are looking to build a real estate business. And they know they may not have all the pieces, but they're willing to take the next step to say, what is it that I need to do to build a real estate business? Because if I have a business, I now am positioning myself to get the 6 figures in funding. That's business. They don't need no proof. They know it's been proven. They're looking around in their local city and their local state, and they see people are making moves, maybe even on social media. They just know there's some information that they don't quite know. There's something that somebody's not telling us. That's business-minded business and business-minded Barry and business-minded Barbara. They know that. So my question to you, which one are you? Which one are you? Because I tell people all the time, if you have not got the funding goal that you want, whatever it is, it may not be 6 figures, maybe it's just 50, I don't know. And you haven't got there, is because there is some information that you just don't know. You don't know it. But you're not willing to admit it. Or you have so many people giving you so many strategies that you don't know which one works. So now, since you have so much information being filtered into your head, now you're falling into the prove it to me, Pauls and Patties. Because now you don't know what to listen to. You don't know what's real. You don't know what's fake. Now it becomes transactional. I got to get there. I got to get there by next week. And I tell people, nah, I'm not your person. Go try talking to a lender. You can't even get them to talk to you because they don't now in 2022, now you don't even talk to nobody. They say, hey, go to this website, submit your information, and and based on the information, if it's a match, we'll give you a call. So once again, going back to that is what most people want. They want a lender to really unpack what is going to take for them to get into the deal that they want to get into. And it doesn't exist now, because now it's all online. Like I tell people, there's an abundance of lenders. They're all over. Put in a Google search. All types of lenders. So, but why people still aren't getting their results? Because they lack education. They lack education. They don't even know what it is the lender's looking for. Because I tell you one thing, what they're not looking at is brand colors. What they're not looking at is your logo colors. What they're not looking at is a vanity email address or a vanity, or whether you have an address or not. They're not looking at those things. They're looking at the things that you don't want to look at. They're looking at, does your business even have any revenue? They're looking at, okay, well, if your business don't have any revenue, okay, well, what do you look like? Have you even managed a credit card bigger than $1,000? How much do you make? Do you pay your bills on time? Those are the things they're looking at. But you don't want to face that that's what it is, because that is the foundation of what a lender is looking at. I tell anybody, if you don't want to listen to me, go to your local bank and see if you can even have a conversation with a banker and see what his requirement is. His requirement ain't gonna be net 30s. They're not gonna be done in Bradstreets or any of that other stuff, the Dunn's numbers, any of that other crazy stuff that they telling people. Because at the end of the day, people want the outcome. They want the cash and the credit. And all those things are just strategies to confuse people. They just strategies to confuse people. So once again, I appreciate those who joined me tonight, those who made a comment, and then also those who are watching the replay. Keep in mind, in a couple of weeks, I did a master class last Saturday. I'm looking to do one again in November. Keep an eye out. If you want to be able to learn more about the master class, just go to my website, www.helpmegetbizcredit.com, and that website will put you on my email communication list, where you will get notifications of when I'm having my next masterclass. I am going to be doing a webinar this Friday. It's a free webinar, but to learn more about that, you need to go onto my email communication list, and so I will be talking about setting yourself up to get access to six figures for the new year. And so we're in the final quarter. It's the final stretch of 2022, and what you need to do to get yourself ready. If that's your goal for 2023, whatever the goal, it don't have to be six figures. Maybe it's just to be able to, I don't know, maybe get your first 25, your first 50. I always say the pinnacle to get started is at least 100,000, because depending on where you are in the country, like here in the Northeast, I mean, you need to at least start with that. Anything below that, it's trying to play. So that's why I always say, the pinnacle to get started is the six figures. But once again, this is not no overnight thing. This is not for the person for who, like I said, you financially, you ain't been in the best place, and now you just thinking it's a magic show. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm looking to work. I'm looking to work with, talk to people that I have got success stories for, their business minded barbers and Barrys. Those are the individuals. The prove it to me Pauls and Paulas, hey, somebody can sell you a secret lenders list. Good luck with that. But once again, we're gonna be doing a free webinar Friday, and if you want to learn more about it, make sure you are on my email communication list. So thank you, and all the links will be below this video, and I will see you Friday.